tell you this right now, and I know I don't have much to like base it off of. I'm very confident that Loki's a superior Haki user than Zoro is.
How? What shows that?
The fact that he was able to box with Herald, man. Like,
you keep bringing up this box with Herald thing. What does that mean?
Are you trying to tell me that Zoro can use Shanks level Hakis, Larry?
No, I'm not saying that.
That's seemingly what it would take.
Okay, what I'm saying is he doesn't need to be Shanks level. My point is that Haki was enough to beat Loki. So you think that Herald himself is weaker than Loki before he picked up Ragnar?
If Herald himself, with the Covenant
Herald
before the
at his
Covenant.
prime, do you think he's stronger than Loki when Loki went to go pick up Ragnar? I couldn't possibly beat Blackbeard at where I am in my life.
And when did I deny Ray saying that?
All of a sudden,
when did I deny it?
You go,
when?
no.
No, that's not what I said.
Rayleigh could have beat Blackbeard. Now Herald said something, and now Herald
didn't I
can't
also
do
say,
it.
Right?
Stop,
Preston, didn't I also
stop,
say,
bro.
we literally
You're
have this on
literally
video. No,
gaslighting
I'm
me,
not.
bro.
I've been saying for a long time, I felt Loki was entirely too strong to be a next Straw Hat. Technically, like, this form doesn't, like, prove that, but I feel like it blends to that line of thinking in general. I would like for him to have a more major role than just being one of Luffy's, like, I don't want to say henchmen, but crewmates. The picture itself was absolutely fire, and Luffy's seemingly in a giant form right now. He's so much smaller than Loki is. Loki's like 100 times bigger than Luffy right now in his giant form. So I'm like, this is the biggest creature we've seen in the show. Like, this is Onigashima's head level almost. I might be tripping. I'm not great with size scaling like that. Is he bigger than Onigashima's skull? Probably not, maybe. I don't know.
I don't think so.
Oh, you don't think so? Okay. But he's at least large like that. With all that said, I gotta ask you, Larry, you still think Zoro could beat him?
Yeah.
Bro, you wildin', bro. You really wildin', bro. I know he hasn't shown anything particularly, but his presence is out here changing the environment.
That's fine. Big Mom was changing the environment.
And Zoro can't beat her either. You get what I'm saying?
But he's not beating Big Mom.
That statement, Zoro can't beat Big Mom. I don't know if I.
A lot of what the community is doing is getting the overall hype of what this Devil Fruit can do and the size of it. We've already proven that Haki not only nullifies Devil Fruit users and their abilities, but it also is able to have that person with superior Haki to amount to a bigger person with physical attributes they don't have. This was proven with Rox and Herald. This was proven with Roger and Whitebeard. All these people with really good Haki can amount to people who are physically bigger than them. Devil Fruit users also get canceled out most times because of a really good Haki user. If this Haki user is able to utilize the most superior form of Haki, which is Conqueror's Haki, then they have a higher chance of beating somebody that only knows the basic Conqueror's Haki aptitudes of Haki. And they have this Devil Fruit. I don't see Zoro losing to this individual. If you don't want to put importance on Haki, you don't have to. But when we do discuss Haki and its relevancy to the story, it shows these people who have Conqueror's Haki and can utilize it to its highest forms are usually the strongest people on the show, hands down.
I'm gonna tell you this right now, and I know I don't have much to like base it off of. I'm very confident that Loki's a superior Haki user than Zoro is.
How? What shows that?
The fact that he was able to box with Herald, man. Like,
you keep bringing up this box with Herald thing. What does that mean?
Conqueror's Haki users were incapable of rendering him unconscious.
Why was that?
They weren't as strong as Loki was.
No.
In that moment.
Are you giving Loki credit for beating Herald?
Yeah. He still knocked him out of the mode that he was in. It took physicality and Haki usage to do that. He didn't just do it.
Well, the brand was scarred, right? The brand was taken.
It.
If any of the other Conqueror's Haki users like Shanks or Gibbon accidentally hit the scar.
We don't know that. We do not know that.
Let me ask you something. Do you think Loki purposely hit that Covenant brand on purpose?
Probably not, no.
Right. So Loki had the off chance that he hit the brand. The brand then offered up Herald his consciousness back. And then Herald, having consciousness and having his ability to not fight anymore when he was being forced to, then tells Loki to end his life, proving that Loki didn't have to fight off the Conqueror's Haki that he was emitting already. So he essentially defeated Herald, who wasn't utilizing or even leaking Haki.
But the point is, you're saying that Loki happened to attack the
brand.
The brand.
Yes.
But we had multiple people on that island that were fighting Herald that even knew about the brand's existence. Shanks has one himself, and he didn't either one think to do that or didn't happen to attack it and get him knocked out in any way.
Okay.
So it's like either one, Shanks is an idiot, or two, he wasn't strong enough to do that in the first place.
So you think that Emu just lets everybody know what the weaknesses of the brand
but
are?
Shanks has a brand.
Okay.
At the minimum, he has some elevated knowledge that even Loki didn't have. So it's like, okay, if Shanks is trying to stop Harold,
how would he know that?
Fighting him, he has a brand himself, Larry. He has one.
Okay, has his brand. So you think that he's trying to find the weaknesses of the brand?
He was actively trying to stop Harold without killing him. That was what he was trying to do.
How many people landed a shot on Harold in that castle?
A lot of people did.
How many of those people were stronger or close in strength to Gabon or Shanks?
Just those two.
Right. Yet, they didn't land attacks on Harold where his arm had the brand.
Okay.
Harold also didn't have control of his body and his actions.
Okay.
What I'm trying to say here is, if Shanks and Gabon knew if the brand is somehow scratched or has to regenerate and would give Harold his consciousness back, they would have done so.
I'm
Therefore,
saying even if they tried,
Loki accidentally hit it. Oda clearly signified that the brand was not intact. Then Harold gets his consciousness back and then tells Loki to stall off on him while he has the chance to. So he didn't fight Harold or defeat him when Harold was at his best, or even when Harold was at his weakest.
I'm saying even in a scenario where they're all here, and if you want to say it's plot, cool. They didn't get that brand to be damaged enough. Gabon, Shanks, 100 plus ancient guards, Yarul, etc. They weren't able to get Harold to that point.
Yeah.
Loki was. We already got Luffy feeling his presence. And again, that's just Haki. Because he was chained up with Sea Stone from basically, I don't say an island away, but an entire realm of Elbaph away. Luffy's feeling his presence. The way narrative works, this man is seemingly a much stronger, more important character than just a guy that Zoro can beat like that. Like, I'm sorry, man. I don't know how much more you gotta see from the dude. The fact that Shanks basically became a Yonko defeating him, seemingly. I'm sorry. He's just boxing at a level dudes like Zoro ain't at yet. He just is.
Okay.
There's no convincing me that Zoro would have been able to perform anywhere near the level that Loki was able to perform versus Harold. That is not happening right now. That Zoro doesn't exist for another 100 or so chapters, maybe. To me, I don't know how we can be in this space where we're reading what we're reading, hearing what we're hearing, getting what we're getting from important characters. You just agreed that this dude is basically on the mural as an isolated figure, potentially even fighting the Red Line himself. But you're still gonna tell me that Zoro, as he is now, can possibly defeat this man. That doesn't make any sense. Like, I'm sorry, it doesn't.
So what you're doing and what the community is doing once again is that you're choosing to believe in narrative so heavily that any of the evidence pointing to the opposite of strength that they're supposed to signify within the story is working against you. You're not allowing for any belief that currently Loki doesn't have the Haki aptitude. Because he hasn't shown it, narrative says he has to have it. Therefore, any of the things that previously Loki was doing, you gotta accept it. I'm telling you right now, it's been multiple times we've seen people who are either under Domi Reversi or under any of the covenants, such as what Harold was doing and is possessed. They're not fighting to their highest capabilities. Haki is not being controlled efficiently. They're also not fighting the way they usually fight. They allow attacks to happen on them nonstop. If Loki looked at Ragnar, tried to bang out with it, and its Conqueror's Haki failed in order to overcome it, and it broke Loki's hammer, I don't think that happens with Zoro and his swords. I'm sorry. I see Zoro actively utilizing Conqueror's Haki in a way that Loki does not. And it seems to be a very much higher form because he was able to defeat Albert with it. Your opinion is, no matter what Zoro has shown in his capabilities of using Haki in a more advanced form than Loki, I have to assume Loki is always going to be victorious because the story demands it. And I don't work that way. I'll never work that way. You have to show me you have it. And if you don't have it, then you're not winning.
You're not even accepting that what Harold said is, in my opinion...
What did Harold say, my brother?
That Loki is a Conqueror's Haki user.
Cool. Kid is a Conqueror's Haki user.
14 years ago, he said this.
That's okay.
He's been traveling the sea and fighting since then, fighting Shanks-level opponents.
How do you know he fought Shanks? How do you know he fought Shanks?
Part of Loki's story is that Shanks defeated him.
Okay.
We don't know exactly what happened.
Right.
But that's part of the story.
Right. And then why did Shanks defeat Loki?
We don't know.
Well, apparently he has Nidhogg. Apparently he has Conqueror's Haki, like you've said. What did Shanks do who's physically not as capable as him, not as great as him, not as strong as him, right? Not as grand as him.
He used his Haki to do
he doesn't
so.
have a Devil Fruit.
He used his Haki to defeat him.
Right.
Are you trying to tell me that Zoro can use Shanks level Hakis, Larry?
No, I'm not saying that.
That's seemingly what it would take.
Okay, what I'm saying is he doesn't need to be Shanks level. My point is that Haki was enough to beat Loki. It was enough to beat his Nidhogg power.
But it's not Haki. It's not Haki.
Right.
It's a certain level of Haki and proficiency and use that Zoro has yet to showcase.
Right.
That's my issue.
Okay, so again, you don't need to have Shanks' Conqueror's Haki in order to beat Loki. You just need to have Conqueror's Haki and capable of being utilized, which is what Loki doesn't have. Loki has never shown me he could utilize Ragnar, infuse Conqueror's Haki into it the way Zoro does with Enma and his swords, and be able to overcome somebody else who's basically unbeatable. Loki can't do that. So already, I'm telling you, if your Haki is better than Loki's, you're going to defeat him. And so far, Zoro has shown he has better Conqueror's Haki utilization. He can tap into a different form of it. I see basic Conqueror's Haki from Shanks, one-shot Kid. Kid has Conqueror's Haki. Shanks wasn't using the advanced forms of Conqueror's Haki against him. If you if you have a better Haki than the other person, you're gonna win. That's how the show is. This is how the upper tiers are. That's how it's always going to go. Especially the ones that have Conqueror's Haki. You're not accepting that Zoro could tap into a level of Conqueror's Haki that Loki just can't. You're already saying that Loki can. That's what you're saying. You're saying Loki could do that.
Yeah. I saw him clash with Harold and shake Elbaph. Like, that's not happening. I'm out.
No, put it this way.
I'll
Put it this way. When Loki and Harold clashed, how many of those giants in the room fell asleep? They went unconscious. How many of them? Or were they still up? Tell me. Because from what I remember, it was none of them. Was the castle itself destroyed?
No.
Do you remember if the clouds separated or were splitting the sky?
No.
Right. Why was that? Because Harold wasn't capable of utilizing his Conqueror's Haki. He was just leaking Conqueror's Haki out while he was fighting. Therefore, Loki can just clash with him if he wanted to. And again, Loki wasn't able to overcome the basic Conqueror's Haki that wasn't being utilized by Harold. At this point, you're saying Harold, he's at his very best. He used his strongest Conqueror's Haki, which he didn't. The same thing he used against rocks. Harold can hit somebody without touching them, yet he didn't use it. Why not? Why didn't he use it? If Loki is that strong and he could compete, why didn't Loki not touch when they clashed too?
Well, one,
right.
We don't.
How many times did Loki infuse Conqueror's Haki into Ragnar?
To me, he definitely did it to take the last blow he did to Harold.
Absolutely.
The last blow he did to Harold to take, like, to end Harold's life.
And how much Conqueror's Haki was Harold using at that moment?
None.
Right. This is like essentially you standing up and me going, yo, I'm going to put a glove on made out of metal and I'm just going to stall off on you. And you're like, yeah, please do it. And you're like, but I get credit for hitting you that way. I'm strong because I did that. What? No.
But Harold still has his regenerative abilities up. If it wasn't strong enough to bypass all of the Covenant's healing abilities, it would have to be a certain level to bypass all of it because Harold was still regenerating, though. It would have to be strong enough to bypass all of Emu's Covenant abilities. And that's what Loki showed. And the fight ended relatively quickly. He got into that state quickly and then ended it in one shot with his Conqueror's Haki.
If Sanji went up to Whitebeard in his prime, and Whitebeard just wasn't using any type of Haki, and Sanji just decided to kick him with his strongest attack, is Whitebeard going to be knocked out or not?
No. This is Whitebeard. You said...
If Whitebeard allowed Sanji to use his strongest attack, look what happened with Luffy on Whole Cake Island. Look how strong Luffy is and what he was capable of utilizing at that point. And look what Sanji did to him while he wasn't attacking him back or using Haki to attack him back. Look what Black Maria did to Sanji just so she wouldn't hurt her hands. So he didn't use any type of Haki against her. Look what she did to him. Look how damaged he was.
If Whitebeard in his prime allowed Sanji to kick him...
Dead in his chin. Not using any Haki. He said, yo, stall off on me as hard as possible.
Whitebeard good.
Yeah, I think
he's good too. What are we doing?
Okay.
Sanji?
I literally saw Film Red where there was literally regular people punching Shanks in his face and literally causing him to bleed.
Bro, Larry, you tweaking, bro. We disagree. It's all right. I was hoping you might change your tone, attitude.
Absolutely not.
We got to get older to start drawing Loki, use some Conqueror's Haki attacks, and you'll probably switch up then. You know what I mean?
I feel like also Harold even said it though. And you could argue when Harold tried to go after the fruit himself, but he recognized before this he couldn't acquire the fruit, the Elbaph fruit. He only recognized that he had the strength to do it after the Covenant. And then doubted Loki's ability to do it. He's like, dude, it has said no to every single Elbaph king beforehand. Then Loki actually does it. After Loki does it by using his Conqueror's Haki to beat Ragnar, comes to Harold. Harold says, show me his power. You actually did it. Then charges at Loki. Loki ends the fight within seconds with his ability.
I don't know if it was seconds, but
it was like 2 hits. And after Harold attacked first.
You don't know it was 2
Attacked first, ended it, and then knocked him out of that place where Harold regained his composure, where he's able to hold back his body. While Harold is still regenerating, though, then one more hit with his Conqueror's Haki, Loki hits it without touching, obliterating all of the effects of the Covenant and the renowned super strength that comes with the Covenant. Loki showed a lot of Haki from then on. And then this is also then, and then 14 years later.
So you think that Harold himself is weaker than Loki before he picked up Ragnar?
If Harold himself, with the Covenant
Harold
before the Covenant.
His prime, do you think he's stronger than Loki when Loki went to go pick up Ragnar?
At first, I thought Harold is stronger than Loki. To me, it's like, how would I think that Loki's stronger than him? But I'm basing it off that statement that he says right here. That
I'm not asking for a statement. I'm asking you, do you think Harold in his prime is stronger than Loki when he went to go grab Ragnar?
But I'm basing off Harold's statement. He's saying
I don't
that
care
Loki.
what Harold says.
No, but that's
He's
factors.
using context to support his thought process.
I'm trying to say is that from what Harold's alluding to,
but I need you to be
he's
consistent.
trying to say that I am being consistent.
No, because you've also said that Rayleigh would have just beat Blackbeard if we're using context, right? Based on what Rayleigh said, not being able to fight Blackbeard because he thought he was too weak.
But what did Blackbeard also do, though?
Again, this is what we're talking about, right?
No, but Blackbeard also showed fear to fight Ray.
My question to you is, through everything we saw with the Rocks and Harold, and that was Harold, not even in his prime yet, prime Harold, and how strong he was, do you think he's weaker than the Loki that was going after Ragnar to go eat the devil fruit? Yes or no?
Harold says that Loki achieved something that he could not do.
What do you think
with
that
his
was?
strength?
What do you think that was? You think that was actual strength?
What else would it be? Loki legit beat Ragnar with his Conqueror's Haki. Harold's saying that it's something he could not do, but with the Covenant, he was able to do it now. So what else can I take from that?
So
he even doubted Loki being able to do it at the time, but Loki surprised him and did it anyway. So based off this, Harold did something that Loki
let me
did
get this
something
straight.
that Harold said that I could not do before the Covenant.
So you're telling me that Prime Harold is weaker than that Loki we saw?
Based off Harold's statement?
Yes?
I'm saying
are you saying yes?
I'm saying Loki achieved something that Prime Harold said he couldn't do.
Is he weaker?
I don't know.
We did all this talking for an answer of I don't know. You're just going off of based on what he said, but you won't go off of what Rayleigh said. This is why I can't take the inconsistencies of argument, bro.
Did Blackbeard show fear to fight Ray at that time? Did Blackbeard want to fight Ray?
Now we got to go off of what people are actually doing with action instead of what they said.
Are you sure? Sebastian, have I ever changed that point?
Bro.
Have I ever changed that point? I've always said Blackbeard showed fear. What is the difference between Blackbeard running away from Shanks and running away from Kaido?
He feels fear.
Did I bring it up?
He feels fear. Oh my God.
So
meanwhile, this dude is like, yo, I literally can't beat him. And you won't believe him, though.
So Blackbeard showing fear and not wanting to fight someone and running away does not matter now?
You are out
does not matter now?
You are out of your mind.
If you think that
Prime Harold is weaker than Loki going to get Ragnar and eat the devil fruit, if you truly believe that, you are out of your mind.
What if Harold believes it?
This is literally saying Rock.
What if Harold believes it?
I don't care what Harold believes.
Who are we talking about then?
I don't care what Harold believes.
Oh, then why do you believe that?
Do you think
you just said Ray doesn't believe he can beat Blackbeard?
Tell me this.
But you believe Ray.
Tell me this.
You believe Ray,
Do you think that Loki can do advanced Conqueror's Haki to where he doesn't touch blades?
He's shown that he can do it. He showed that he can do it, literally, in his last attack against Harold. He didn't touch Harold.
Larry's not of the belief that that's what that was.
To me, that's the same where he didn't believe where Garp and Roger were clearly doing to each other. Larry didn't believe that either.
I argued this hard about that.
Yeah.
Bro.
Like, they're clearly doing it without touching. Loki showed that Rocks and Garp,
Did Loki do it to that sleep tid? It's the same attack, basically, but with ice. Did he do it to the sleep tid?
I gotta go back to it. I gotta look at it.
Did he do it against the tree? Did he touch the tree with the hammer?
I think he actually hit the hammer. I think he actually hit the hammer.
Yeah, I think
But he didn't touch Harold, though. Like, he did it, like, without touching him. So this one, he's actually touching. But we don't see any Haki being on. It looks like it's just ability. Where the attack against Herald, we saw the Haki into it. Am I wrong? Like, this one is just ability.
Yeah.
You don't even see any effect of Haki at all. It's just ability from the hammer. I mean,
I guess there's a debate to be had as to whether or not this is the lightning that's doing this versus.
no, but you see the black. You see the traces of Haki.
I agree with you. I'm saying there's credence to why Larry doesn't think.
What chapter is this?
We rarely get Lawrence versus Larry on the pod. I love it. Good times.
Dude literally is a contradiction. He'll believe Harold, but won't believe Rayleigh. Literal contradiction.
But, so you're not factoring Lily Blackbird's show of
I don't
cowardice.
care what Blackbeard was doing.
So
at the
why
end of the
did
day,
what? So how do you take one side and not consider the other?
Rayleigh
then?
said he couldn't beat Blackbeard, and your thought process was like, I don't care what Rayleigh
That's not what I
said.
said. That's not what I said
Rayleigh
at all.
hasn't fought him yet.
No.
To say that he would lose.
All I said
And we
was
had
that,
to argue about that mad times.
What? Ray said in his old age he couldn't possibly be Blackbeard. I go, yes.
Yeah.
But I also factored in, but Blackbeard also showed that he was not confident that he could take on Ray.
yo.
That's all I added.
And guess what? We got to take the word of Harold, who was being possessed by Emu, literally out of his mind and not talking correctly.
No. Do they speak out of their mind? They kind of stay true to their character, right? And then he legit
they stay true
says,
to their
I
character.
tried. He legit
So
says.
Harold was true to his character the entire time he was under the control.
Harold legit says
Right.
beforehand,
Right.
before the covenant, I couldn't do something. Now with the strength, now with the covenant, I believe I have the strength to take Ragnar because guess what? I tried in the past and I failed.
Man.
Douse Loki for doing it is like, don't even try.
Uh-huh.
I'm the only one that can do it. Then Loki does it.
Or Ragnar has to be compatible with you and has to choose you, and it wouldn't choose Harold or any of the other people that was trying to obtain it. That sounds more like context and narration to me.
Does it? Because we do know that Ragnar, no matter what, attacks you. Harold legit says the Ragnar won't let you. So that means won't let you. So that means it's going to fight you. Harold,
and then what happened
Loki
with Loki?
legit overpowered Ragnar.
Oh,
so
you think that's what happened? Loki overpowered Ragnar?
Yes.
You don't think that Ragnar just chose Loki?
After getting that knot on his head, yeah.
Right.
Because they both clashed.
Right. Because
Ragnar submitted to freaking Loki.
Because Harold's sword would have broke clashing with Ragnar, right? That's what you're saying?
I don't know if it would have broke, but I just know he didn't
Lawrence,
do it.
stop it. Stop it.
Dude.
Stop.
Did Harold not try to do it and fail?
Stop.
Like, he legit said it. I've tried.
Zoro,
in fact, every other king before me has tried, and none of us are able to do it.
Zoro's swords wouldn't break against Ragnar, and neither would Harold.
His will to get Ragnar broke because he stopped trying until he got that
that's
covenant.
because Ragnar had to choose, most likely, the person it wants them to be wielded by.
All that tells us is that when Harold tried, he deemed unworthy due to his strength. And Harold knocked it to strength.
Oh my God. We're still going about the Covenant Herald. Like, Covenant Herald is the true Herald. It's not Harold, bro. Is Dorian Broggy true Dorian Broggy right now?
Harold recognized that he was stronger in the covenant and then viewed, this is the strength I need to get Ragnar.
Yeah.
Literally the words he says out of his mouth.
Next time a character says something, Lawrence, I expect you to full-blown go by it. And if you go against it at any point in the story, I'm calling you out every single time. And the Rayleigh thing is still existing because you're clearly contradicting yourself.
No, I'm not contradicting myself.
Yes, you are.
Did I ever once say?
Lawrence, you can't say. You can't say, yo. This one character said, I would lose to Blackbeard. I would lose to Blackbeard. I couldn't possibly beat Blackbeard at where I am in my life.
And when did I deny Ray saying that?
All of a sudden,
when did I deny it?
You go, no.
No, that's not what I said.
Rayleigh could have beat Blackbeard. Now Harold said something, and now Harold
didn't I
can't
also
do
say,
it.
right?
Stop,
Justin, didn't I also
stop,
say?
bro.
We literally
You're
have this on
literally
video. No,
gaslighting
I'm
me,
not.
bro.
I'm not.
You really
just
are,
have this
bro.
on video. Sebastian,
Stop.
didn't I always say, right, that Ray said this, but Blackbeard showed it through action because he didn't have confidence because he legit got scared of Ray and chose not to fight him. When did I say that Ray didn't say this and I don't believe what Ray said? When did I say that? All I said was that Blackbeard, Ray said it in words, Blackbeard showed it in action. There's no difference in what I'm saying now. We have the tape. Go to it. All I said that Blackbeard showed it in action, and I compared it.
Showed you lying.
And I compared it to when he ran away from Shanks. Didn't Blackbeard show that he ran away from Shanks because he didn't believe he could fight Shanks and Akainu? What is the difference here?
All I'm asking for
it's crazy.
Is some consistency. If you're gonna use something in an argument, use it for your next argument. Don't pander to the moment because that's what you're doing.
I'm not pandering to the moment.
You don't even know if Harold and Loki are weaker or stronger than one another right now. And yet you're defending Loki as if he is stronger. That's not consistency either.
You're just saying Loki doesn't have a hockey feat that he's clearly shown in the manga.
Damn, yo, good hockey feat. You beat a harmless Herald.
A harmless Herald.
Nice. Good job.
Tell that to all the soldiers he took out.
Yeah, the soldiers he took out.
And Gabon's face.
Right.
Who has a permanent scar now.
Right.
Harmless.
And guess what? Did any of them attack Herald when his covenant was broken? When it was at fault where he could be damaged? And even Herald, remember, because we're going what Herald said, right? Herald said, do it right now while you have the chance. While you have the chance. Right? So if they have the chance in order to hit him, Lawrence, in order to take him out, and he's willingly telling them to do that, obviously he's not as strong as he was 5 seconds ago.
Who opened up that chance, though?
By accident!
By accident.
So you think Loki was like, I know the brand's weaknesses. Let me aim for the brand itself, and then let me capitalize on it. No, because what happened was the brand got hit on accident, right? Because he didn't use Ragnar. He ended up using his Devil Fruit and attacked Herald multiple times, and through one of those hits, damaged the brand. After the brand was damaged, Herald gets his consciousness back and says, yo, tee off on me. So it even shows Loki didn't know what the hell he was doing.
That's not what that shows. It shows that he overpowered
All right, bro.
the Covenant ability.
All right, bro.
You're putting it to this happenstance by accident.
Oh my God.
Loki legit overpowered the ability. The Covenant ability that Herald gave for Loki.
What chapter was it?
He legit overpowered it.
What chapter was
That's
it?
what Oda wrote.
What chapter was it,
It wasn't,
bro?
I hit his arm, which has never happened in the history of any Covenant user. No, he got overpowered.
Yeah.
And then because of that, he's like, all right, yo, that overpower you did weakened my condition.
1170.
Finish me off now while you all have me in this overpowered state.
Right.
That you overpowered me, finish me off.
You know what?
He legit got overpowered.
Yo, it would have been crazy because, Gabon and Shanks literally cut Herald's leg off. Imagine if they took and hit his brand on accident. What Herald would have said to them. All of a sudden, let's go right back. Oh my God. He eats the Devil Fruit, comes through. Literally, Herald has all these swords inside of him. And all of a sudden, he gets hit by Loki multiple times. And all of a sudden, his arm is damaged. And when the arm is damaged, look what Herald does. He talks to him for 5 minutes and then tells him, yo, I love you too, son. Stall off on me before it takes over again.
Somebody in the chat said this is my first time watching Obama.
You ain't got the answers, man.
But Sebastian, Larry also Norris, where Gabon mentions that Herald is using Conqueror's Haki. You say he's not using Conqueror's Haki. Gabon legit says, and he's a Conqueror's too. So that he's using it.
Was Rox using his Conqueror's Haki? Or was he just leaking it?
With the fight with
Rox, Roger, and Garp. Was he leaking Conqueror's Haki or was he utilizing it?
He was utilizing it.
When? When in that entire fight he was utilizing it?
Roger legit said he's blocking his body with Armor and Conquerors. So that literally the Conquerors are clashing? Didn't Roger not say that? Roger legit said, I'm using Armament and Conquerors to boot. Right?
Oh my God,
but
bro.
Since this dude is protecting his body with Conqueror's Haki, our Conquerors are clashing and then canceling out each other. Meaning my attack's not going through and he's defending it. And his attack's not going through.
I don't understand.
That's literally what Roger said.
I don't understand the concept of these people who are literally in covenants or under the Domi Reversi are not capable of utilizing their Conqueror's Haki themselves to where they're doing their own named attacks, to where they're actually protecting themselves with it. Every single time we've seen anybody under these covenants, it's always been the same damn story. They don't utilize their Haki efficiently. What's happening is the same thing that Gabon told Zoro. Hey, you're just naturally leaking Haki. It's the same thing that Blackbeard told Luffy and Impel Down. Oh, your Haki has gotten stronger, even though he wasn't consciously using his Haki the way he was supposed to, right? And then we could go even further into more of the characters that simply do not have abilities to be able to be used on them because their Conqueror's Haki is just existing or leaking out of them. Anytime we've seen those said characters then utilize Haki themselves, they've always used it in attacks and utilize it with names. Not once have we seen any Domi Reverses or any of these covenants that are possessed by Emu say any attack name moves.
Yeah, that is true.
So you're telling me that they have control? That's not possible.
It is possible. You want to know how?
Oh my God!
You know?
Because willpower is being affected by somebody else's willpower, so therefore I can use my willpower to its fullest degree.
That's why it's like they're able to use it because it's.
No.
Did Rocks use Haki hardening once?
Yes.
Before the Covenant.
Before the Covenant?
Before
Diversity?
Before Diversity. They used Haki hardening once.
Did he use Haki hardening once?
Like harden his blade
On God Valley?
anywhere.
I can say he used it with Pandemonium.
If you look at his blade is not black once. I looked. His blade is not black once. But if you look at when Rocks is Diamond Versied, he's using a black blade, but only against Roger and Garp. The only time. So right here, that tells me that yes, you're going to be fighting different because it's not necessarily your personality or whatever, right, in your techniques. But Emu, when he shows that you're the Covenant or Diamond Versity, he has access to your entire body. So that means your will too.
Meanwhile, Gonko can't even use her arrow abilities while possessed.
Guys, we got to drop it. Because I got to get y'all, like, takes on the rest of the chapter, or at least the end of the chapter, and we got to get the super chats, and we only got, like, 40 minutes left. Y'all good to agree to disagree?
Yeah.
Call it a day?
I don't care what you got to say.
I started thinking to myself.
They said in the chat, what happened to Sage Larry? And then somebody said Sage Larry never existed. I guess I sparked this. That's my fault.
Shut up, bro. Why are you laughing so much?
Because you were like, I don't care what he has to say.
I'm a 5-year-old, bro. So what? It's part of my charm.
It's all love, man.
Yeah. Y'all need to recognize this is years, bro. All right, anyway.